Hi and welcome back to The Library is Open, and once again the library is open air. See what I did there? I hope you brought your library card anyway, but if not I'm going to let you off just this once. So I'm in the garden again. It is actually warm, you can probably tell from the lighting, but I'm wearing a fleece because I'm proper marred when it comes to temperature and I'm always cold, so that's me for you. So today we're back to do another, or rather a follow-up to my isolation book haul, which I put in inverted commas the first time around, but now just feels sort of accurate, doesn't it? So I probably won't put this one in inverted commas. So I wanted to talk today again about books that I didn't talk about last time, so and that are going to be what I'm reading in the coming weeks. So these are things that I'd either pre-ordered or I'd already had and just didn't talk about, or things that have been gifted to me, whatever, and suitably disinfected. So I wanted to talk about that, and I wanted to do it again in the garden to try and make the most of the weather, despite the fact that, as I say, I'm wearing a fleece. I do like I think it's age, I do like a fleece. I love a fleece for just nipping down sharp, because you don't know, do you, when the weather might turn. So there we go. Yeah, so I've really stepped up my content a lot over the last couple of weeks, I think. So I think I've posted about 3 times a week lately, which is, I hope, good. I hope you're enjoying it. It's just me and it being daft. But it's also helpful to me in the sense of, this is like, I like putting out content and stuff, because I've sort of made a decision that I'm not going to be making any more theatre or performance, digital or otherwise, for the foreseeable. I've made a bit, and I know that some people are, and that's great for them, but I don't think at the moment I've got anything to say. What I might do is tape some old stuff that I've written ages ago and just make it digital. I may do that, but I don't see myself making any new content unless the muse strikes, because I just don't really know what would be the point for no reason, But anyway, be that as it may, watch this, I'll contradict myself and make something next week, but but anyway, let's assume that I'm not, and should we dive into this book haul part 2 of who knows how many, who knows how long this is going to last. Look at that pint of tea, come on man, beautiful. It's ginger, actually. This is ginger, just because, posh me. Right, so oh yeah, right, first and foremost, let's start with things that you all have recommended that I've managed to get hold of. So it might have been a few weeks ago, whatever, but I have, as per usual, listened to your recommendations, and I went out and got them. If you have mentioned something and it's not here, it's because I've maybe bought the Kindle edition, or I've ordered it from like an independent seller and it just hasn't come yet. So first one this was a recommendation. Eleanor Oliphant is Completely Fine, which I had heard a lot about and had just never kind of bought, but like I say, I trust you guys. So, and isn't the bloody, can we just admit, there's no need for that bloody name. Sorry for saying Kim Woodburn, sorry for saying bloody. How lovely is that cover? I really like that. And this is about Eleanor Oliphant. Someone's playing 90s tunes. I'm not whinging. Eleanor Oliphant lives a simple life. Skip ahead. She's happy, nothing is missing from her carefully timetabled existence, except sometimes everything. And apparently it said, the quotes say it's an outstanding debut about loneliness and the power of a little kindness. Well, I mean, that's just got me written all over it, hasn't it? So you will see a review of this. Oh yeah, that's the point. So some of these, I'm not going to review all of them on the channel, so if you don't see them, that's why, because I don't think they're all, I don't mean they're not all worth videos, but I try and make ones that I'm really interested in talking more about, I guess, if that makes sense. Although most of the stuff I read I enjoy in one form or another. You get the idea. The second one is The Ragged Trousered Philanthropist, which I have wanted to read for a long time actually, but it's big old one. It's big old one, isn't it? Look at that next to my face. We're a match. It's a bit depressing, that, isn't it? Because that means that my skin's is the same colour as weathered pages. Oh well, We all have our crosses to bear. And this is about a group of English working men who are joined by Owen, a mysterious journeyman prophet with a strange vision of a just society. Slowly he wins their trust and their hearts Slowly he wins the trust and hearts of his fellow workers, rousing them from their dour complacency with his spirited attacks on the greed and dishonesty of the capitalist system. Well, we could all do with a bit of that at the moment, couldn't we? Hopefully people are waking up to that more and more. Where's the other there's the other recommendation. This is by Richard Yates, Revolutionary Road. And I love this picture on the front. I mean, this is a vintage classic edition, but that sort of Mad Men era kind of glamour. And I know it was like a horrible era in many ways, but aesthetically I kind of approve of that. So I'm probably going to review this as well. This is going to be one of the ones I read next, actually. I've got my little notebook, some proper anal of what I might read. So there's that. Actually, picking up on from my last isolation book haul, where I said I was waiting for the other book that was a retelling of King Lear. Finally got a hold of it, and it's Jane Smiley's 1,000 Acres, which a couple of you actually did say in the comments what it was, and I was like, yeah, that's it. You just can't think when you're on the spot. So this is set in Iowa, and it's about a farmer and his daughters, and it sort of explores that like King Lear sort of dynamic between Lear and the daughters, but in contemporary Iowa. So I'm looking forward to that, and I am going to do a video with that and Dunbar, which was the other retelling, and just talk about King Lear as a whole, because as I mentioned at the time, it is my favourite Shakespeare play. Well, one of my favourites. So my favourite Shakespeares are King Lear, The Winter's Tale, and The Tempest, I think. So yeah, there you go. What else we got? Okay, let's go on to what I'm currently reading, which is brand new this year. I pre-ordered this just because. Now, I'm not going to say that if something's got theatre in the title, it's going to make me go for it, but I'm also not going to say that. That makes sense. So this is called Theatre for Dreamers, and it's by Polly Sampson, and whose novel The Kindness was named Book of the Year by the Times and The Observer. That's interesting, isn't it? And this one is set on a Greek island in the 60s and involves Leonard Cohen. I'm not going to mention too much about that, what the plot is, because like I say, I'm reading it at the moment and enjoying it, and there will be a proper review on it, because I'm sort of collecting my thoughts as I go along. Wool gathering, only not wool, because I don't use wool, but you get the idea. I'm also reading alongside that, which I don't have because it's an electronic version, Mortmain Hall by Martin Edwards. It's a crime writer, and I will also do a video on that. That's crime set in the 30s, but in a very sort of literary way. It's quite hard to describe it, so I'm not sure how that video is going to go, but we shall see. Okay, what next? Oh, this, I'm well excited for this, I have to say. This is called Monster, She Wrote, The Women Who Pioneered Horror and Speculative Fiction, and it's by Lisa Kruger and Melanie R. Anderson, and this is, as the title suggests, it's about female identifying visionaries who work in the genres of science fiction, horror, fantasy, and so on and so forth. And I just think, isn't that beautiful? That's gorgeous, isn't it? And nice bit of typesetting there. So it's non-fiction, and it goes through sort of in roughly historical order and also genre-based order about their works, which I just think is really, really interesting. So looking forward to that. That's going to be coming up soon on the reading pile, I think. Another thing I'm really excited to read is the newie by Samantha Irby, which I've had pre-ordered for absolutely ages, and it finally came. Now, Samantha Irby is brilliant. She's an American sort of essayist who looks at popular culture and life and so on and so forth. And I read her previous collections, which were Meaty and We Are Never Meeting in Real Life. And this is third one, which is, look at the little picture, is called Wow, No Thank You. And this is, she's getting up to being 40, and just basically discussing her life and her attitudes and stuff like that. But you know, when someone writes about quite sort of everyday things that everyone goes through, but in a really interesting and fun sort of wisecracky way, with which sort of hides the fact that it doesn't hide, it illuminates really the fact that it's really profound. So I love Samantha Irby's writing, and I'm really excited to read her next essays. And this is just a great dip-in book as well. Although I'm not going to do that, I am just going to read it all. But, you know, hey, whatever. One monster I've got, and I have to be honest, I'm a little bit scared. Not say scared the right word. Apprehensive, let's say, because it's a commitment. Is This Monster by Lucy Ellmann. Look at that. Ducks Newburyport, which won the Goldsmiths Prize in 2019. Now, the Goldsmiths Prize, it was shortlisted for the Booker as well. Goldsmiths Prize, they tend to be, you kind of get an idea that the books are going to be a little more off the wall, or, you know, a bit more avant-garde, so on and so forth. And I can tell it will be, because it's got, how many pages is this now? 1,000 pages, and there are only 8 sentences. Yeah, so it's going to be proper, I feel, stream of consciousness, a la James Joyce, I suppose, maybe, something like that. And it's about an Ohio housewife. I'd love to be an Ohio housewife, that's a lie. Tries to bridge the gaps between reality and the torrent of meaningless info that is the United States of America. So I think it's going to be very sort of meditative and speculative and so on and so forth, but not speculative in sense like science fiction, but as in, you know, sort of like mind exercises, as it were. So I will do it, but it's just a bit daunting at the moment. But I will get there. It smells amazing. Bring back sniffing, book sniffing. Another one I'm really looking forward to is non-fiction. It's called Mutual Admiration Society by Mo Moulton, not to be confused with Mo Molam. And this is about Dorothy L. Sayers and the group of women that she was colleagues with at Oxford back in 1912. And it's sort of about their contributions to a writing group that they called the Mutual Admiration Society, and how they sort of pioneered the women's movement in terms of being eligible for degrees and so on and so forth, because they were the first group of people that were actually allowed to receive proper degrees from Oxford, which is like mental, isn't it? 1920, yeah. And this is really nice as well, because it has a quote on the back from Laura Doan, who, there we go, who was my lead lecturer on my MA. And so I kind of trust her anyway. And can we just appreciate as well? Lovely cover, but look. Ooh, look at that, beautiful books, beautiful books. I mean, I'm going to do a video on like my favourite covers and things like that, because I think it's important. It's an all-round experience. Speaking of women's history, feminism, so on and so forth, I got hold of this a while back, and I completely forgot to put it in the first book haul. And this is called A Bite of the Apple, A Life with Books, Writers and Virago Press, as you know. Virago Press are, you know, their sort of thing is that they publish a lot of female or female identifying writers, and like lost classics and things like that that should have got the attention that the works deserve, but maybe didn't because, you know, of the sexism in the publishing industry and the wider world. So Bite of the Apple is a sort of biography of that by Lenny Goodings, and I'm really looking forward to learning more about that, because it seems to have been quite a spate recently of books about publishing houses and so on and so forth, so I mean, that's dead interesting. Yes, I do, Karen, yes. So, yeah, I'll give that a little read. We're doing alright, I'm nearly done, I swear. Do I? And this one is called The Weight of Love. This was also pre-order by Hilary Fannin, and it's Irish novel, I think. Is it? Doubleday Island, yeah. Which is about a couple, and they're sort of... I mean, there's no peace. I'll just read the blurb, actually. London 95. Robin introduces the woman he loves to his oldest friend. Their attraction is instant. Powerless, Robin is forced to watch as Ruth and Joseph begin a passionate affair. Spicy. Dublin, 2018. Love Dublin. Robin and Ruth are married and have a son. Haunted by the ghost of Joseph, the distance between them grows until one day Robin makes a choice, the consequences of which could be devastating. And this is a little blurb on the front from Anne Enright, who... I think her latest one is Actress, which I do want to read, but she's a great writer, so I think this will be really, really good. It's heartache for grown-ups. I know how to treat myself, don't I? Which will I do now? I'm nearly done. I've got like 4, if that's okay. Oh, a bit of Aussie fiction. Good eye. It's not my real Aussie accent. This is pretty much a... It's not an Aussie classic, am I allowed to say that? I'm saying it, by Tim Winton, called Cloud Street, which is about, I think, working class Australian life. I think it's going to be a sort of family, being upstaged by a book. A family saga, and it's published in the 90s, but it's supposed to be really sort of, like one of those novels that's quite typical of Australian fiction. Can you be typical of Australian fiction? Probably not, but it sort of stands out as one of the highlights. So Tim Winton's work apparently is like, imagine Neighbours being taken over by the writing team of John Steinbeck and Gabriel Garcia Marquez. Home and Away would have been different, wouldn't it? So I've got that. This one I'm well looking forward to. This is an old classic, Virago. It's called Marriage by Susan Ferrier, and it's set in 1800s, and it's I think it's supposed to be a satire of marriage prospects and family and the roles of men and women and so on and so forth in society. And it's supposed to be very, very good, and doesn't have or rather hasn't been lauded with the same, celebration that people like Jane Austen and so on and so forth have been. And it's got an introduction by Val McDermid, who's brill. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to that one. Get another classic in there, why not? We haven't had one of them for a while, have we? Finally but one. I've got this new one by Rachel Dobson. It's her debut novel. It's also Irish fiction, and it's called The Temple House Vanishing. I'm really in the mood at the moment with things like dark academia or things that happen in schools and stuff. I don't know why. I don't know if it's just because I work in sort of academia, but I don't know. I just always find it really interesting, like a campus novel. And this is about a 16-year-old schoolgirl and her teacher who disappear without a trace from an elite Catholic boarding school. Now, I know this is not going to be Mallory Towers, but I'm still in there. I'm still intrigued. I think it's going to be a bit dark, I think. So it's certainly not Mallory Towers. The worst thing that happens is that they run out of ginger beer. I don't know why I'm reading Mallory Towers for Phil. I love Mallory Towers. Sad but true. So finally I have, and it's quite exciting actually, isn't it, by Janet Ellis, who used to present Blue Peter, if you know, from this country, and it's her new novel called How It Was, which I understand has sort of got on board with wanting to read this when I was watching Savidge Reads, which is Simon Savidge, who's got a great channel, Savidge Reads. I'll link it in the comments. He's really great, and his videos I really, really like. And he's in Liverpool, and obviously I work in Liverpool, so and this is about a wife and a mother who, in the 70s, discovers their teenage daughter's diary, where it seems that Sarah, that's the daughter, is on the threshold of getting everything Marion was denied, and she cannot bear it. What she does next has terrible and heartbreaking consequences for the whole family. Now, I love a family saga, and I love a bit of what if. So I'm looking forward to this. I really like that cover as well. It's proper 70s, isn't it? Sort of colour scheme. It speaks of like Polaroid cameras and repression, which is incidentally the title of my next album. Anyway, I hope that you have enjoyed this second part of my haul. I'm going to finish my tea. I bet it's gone cold now. It has, but I'm going to drink it anyway because I am what? Professional. But thanks for joining me again in my garden for that second haul, and look out for some, probably not all, as I say, of the books in upcoming videos. Any recommendations, comments, please do like. If you haven't subscribed, think about it. I'm dead nice. Do you know what I mean? I'm just trying to do a public service there, do you know what I mean? And yeah, all of that good stuff. If you don't have a library card yet, oh, I should have said that, shouldn't I? If you don't have a library card yet, hit subscribe. Missed a trick there. Shame I don't edit these, isn't it? Oh well. Anyway, you take care of yourselves, everybody. Try and get your, try and make the most of the good weather if and when you can. And I hope you're all looking after yourself and being safe. And that's love. The library's closed for the time being, and I shall see you next time. Mwah.